Hey everyone, and welcome to our first live event in our group here. I'm so excited to do this. I've been waiting all morning to talk to you all. I'll just give another minute or so and see if anyone else is going to join us. But welcome to all the new members in our group, and I hope you all feel like this is a safe space where you can come together, and we're actually going to focus on recovery and healing from emotional abuse and emotionally abusive relationships, mostly past, but even if you still find yourself in those same patterns, we're going to be working with that. So welcome to all of you. I'm so happy to be here. So if you're just coming on, make sure you say hello. You can say hello in the chat. You can ask questions. I should be able to see them and respond if you're here live. So I am Ailsa from Pleasure for Health. My website is www.pleasureforhealth.com, and this is a new creation of mine, a new passion. So I'm really excited to be diving into the topic of emotional abuse and how to actually rebuild your confidence afterwards. And today specifically, we had a little poll out and we're voting for how to see the truth of where you are, which I thought was a really great place to start, because if you don't know where you are, you don't know where you want to get to, it's really hard to make any changes in your life. So one of the first things we really need to do is be very specific and be very clear about where we are, whether we are in an emotionally abusive situation, whether we are still living in the shadow of that, and really get, really honest with ourselves about that. So I was just gonna say that there's a definition of emotional abuse that I really liked. It's that it's a form of brainwashing that slowly erodes the victim's sense of self-worth. So anything that is cutting you down over and over again to the point where you have no idea who you are, you have no idea what you like or don't like, you have no idea what your own thoughts are, all of that are some of the results of being in an emotionally abusive situation or relationship. So we go really in depth with this in my intensive program that I take a few women into and work with them personally. But on here, I just want to kind of get a broad overview of what does that look like, and how, what is it, how do we know, how do we get clear about where we are, and how can we know if that's a good place or a bad place, or if we want to change that? Because, you have to get clear on all these things before you can, like I said, transform anything. So my key with this is that you listen to your body. We are here incarnated, if you will, in a physical body, and I believe that our body is a great teacher and can really show us the way and help us to live our most authentic life and to really live into the highest ideal for ourselves. So our body is not just here, to get us around. It's here to help to form that kind of relationship that if we learn to communicate and listen to our body, that it can hold the keys to us really living our best self and knowing when we're stuck and when we're not. So let's just take a deep breath and just acknowledge that we're all here in a body right now. Maybe just roll your shoulders or get really comfortable in your seat, wherever you're listening. I'm gonna take a sip of water. Maybe your body is craving some water as well. And it's all these little signs that, you're here and you're in this relationship. And if we constantly push away and don't listen, we are actually not in a very healthy relationship with ourselves, and if we're not listening to our body, we can't read those signs. And so just like me wanting to, feeling thirsty and I want a bit of water, I know that my body is thirsty, so I can drink the water. We can actually become aware and be really clear about the fact that in our body, there are certain feelings and sensations when we are not living our truth, when we're not feeling confident and we're on that rabbit wheel of I'm not good enough and I just need to placate everyone around me. So there are signs in the same way that when I know I need a drink, there are signs that will, if we listen, tell us when we need to do something different in our lives, when we need to say something different to people in our lives, and how to do that. So let's just, in our topic today of getting really clear about where you are, I don't know a lot of you, and I'm hoping that as we go along, we'll get to know each other better. But, what is the real pain points of your life right now? Like, what is really bothering you about where you are? Obviously, you've joined this group, you have some relationship to emotional abuse. You're either interested in it, or you've been through it yourself, or you're maybe still in it, like I said. So what are some of the symptoms that we might feel if we're in an emotionally abusive relationship, or if we're still in, like I said, the threads of emotional abuse? So see if any of these symptoms sound like something that you might relate to. Do you feel like you don't know your own mind? Does anybody ever say like, oh, you can never make a decision, Do you feel like, I don't even know if somebody asked me, do I want pizza or Chinese food? I don't even know. I'll just want whatever you want. So that's one big key, that we're not really living in our authentic truth, is that we don't have any connection to what our own wants and desires are. And the people, your friends especially, the people around you will notice that, and they'll be like, oh, she can never make up her mind. She always has to ask me like what to wear, what to eat, where to go, what to do on holiday. So sometimes people around you get kind of tired of having to make up your mind for you because you're not being clear about what it is you like. So another symptom that often comes up is that you should think better about yourself, but you can't really seem to get there. Like you've probably read loads of self-help books. A lot of stuff is out there to help you build self-confidence, self-esteem, but you just can't seem to actually own it. You've read all the books, you can spout it off, but you can't seem to own it. And again, the key I'm going to say is in that relationship to your body. So being able to find and have confidence in the way that you're feeling, and in knowing that that is something you can trust, will slowly build confidence over time. And like I said, I get into that much more deeply in my program that my 8-week program with women, where we really take a deep dive into this and we really transform. So see if that rings a bell. If you know everything about having self-confidence, but you can't seem to quite get there. Is that something that you can relate to? So another symptom that often comes up with people that have been through emotional abuse is you hate being alone. You don't want to be alone. You don't want to be by yourself. You want to be in a relationship. You want somebody with you. You just hate being alone because you don't know yourself. You don't know what you like. You don't know what you dislike. You need external validation. And you have this drive to always find a new person to be in relationship with. And if you recognize that in yourself, that it's more than just I'd love to have a great partner in life. It's more of a need where you're running after anyone that would possibly spend time with you because you can't spend time with yourself, and you have trouble finding your own self-confidence and your own interests and goals. So that's another symptom. One of the symptoms actually of emotional abusive past or present that I think is really interesting is you love to take care of everyone else, and I put it in air quotes because you're taking care of other people, but it's more for you than for them. You need, again, it's that need to feel like you're taking care of everyone else because, you're just hoping against hope that somebody will care about you, that, even yourself, you're kind of wishing you could care like that about yourself. But the only way that you have an outlet for, usually very empathic, very compassionate people end up being victims of emotional abuse because they are amazing people. And they want to help other people, and it becomes a need. Again, if you notice that obsessive kind of need to help other people to the detriment of listening to your own self and your own body, that would be another key that there's still some work to do there on your own shadow, your own remnants of, things that have imprinted themselves from, being a victim. And we've talked about other people needing to validate your value, your looks, your work, your self-worth. You always are asking, well, do I look all right? Do I sound all right? Am I doing a good job? All of these needs for external validation is a signpost to say, hey, I'm not able to do that for myself, and I'm looking for other people to validate me. And if that sounds like you, again, get really clear and be really honest with yourself. Oh, and this is one of my favorite ones. So here's a symptom of being still held back by the blocks of emotional abuse. If you are afraid to say your truth or to make a decision because you're afraid someone will be upset with you, or you're afraid someone will be angry with you, this is a big red flag. A lot of us have grown up, not wanting to have anyone be upset with us. We don't like conflict. I'm Canadian. We're kind of known for that, for not wanting to be in conflict. And, we'd rather just go, oh, whatever, no, that's fine, than to actually say, actually, this is how I think it should be. And to actually say what you like or how you want to do things. If you're afraid of upsetting people or angering someone, and if there's sometimes a real fear in that, possibly, you could still be in a relationship with an abuser that will take advantage of that fear and push you on it and make sure that you never contradict what they want because they've made you afraid. So if you feel, and again, this is going back to if you're feeling in your body that things are not okay, that, there's a fear, there's a tension, there's a locked up, there's a, oh my God, I'm not sure I can do this, I can't say this, I don't want to make them upset, then that is something you really need to look at and be very clear about. And again, at this point, we're just getting really clear about what's our starting point, like where are we at right now? So I'm not telling you to go out and, radically shift anything just yet. Get really clear about where you are first. So an outcome and another symptom of not wanting to anger other people and holding your own feelings inside is that when you bury these emotions and these feelings, what happens to our body, our physical body, is that we manifest disease or chronic pain or, cancer. All these types of things are manifestations of this inner conflict. We know inside that we're not really in tune with our true self, and we're projecting outside something different than what's inside. And this difference creates a lot of pain and illness in the world. So if you are in chronic pain or if you have an illness already, that could be a sign that, you have been in an abusive situation for long enough that it's starting to affect your physical health. And I won't go into too much, but obviously if you were, self-harming or eating disorders or, just chronic overwork, exhaustion, that kind of thing can be an indicator that, you haven't got the self-esteem and confidence that would help you to say, no, I need to rest now, or I can't take that on. So again, these are all signs, all of these things that we've gone through in the last few minutes, these are all signs and symptoms that you're open, or you've been the victim of emotional abuse, or you're still open to it, and parts of you are still running those old programs. So see if any of those resonated with you, and if any of you guys have other symptoms that you're feeling that you could bring to light. I would love to hear about them, so type them in the comments below if you're watching this later. Type them in the comments. Let us know what are your symptoms. What has shown up for you to make you aware of the fact that you have been emotionally abused, and how do you recognize that? So share with the group, let us know. And get curious, ask some really good questions. So once you've done all of that and you've got really clear, like, yes, I have, a lack of confidence. I don't know what I really want to do. I don't know how to say what I want. I know that I feel not comfortable. I want to say how I'm feeling and I'm not able to, I'm afraid to do this. If all of these things are coming up for you, write them down. Write down, this is where I am right now. And get really clear. Get looking at that. And once you've kind of clarified, okay, this is where I am, what is possible from there, not to get stuck in there, but then to look at, okay, well, what do I want? What would I like my self-worth to look like? What would I like my confidence to look like? What would I like my external world to look like? How can I imagine being in my job, my workplace, with my friends? Like, what if I said, hey, let's go to this restaurant and have dinner for my birthday? Like, what would it feel like to be able to be confident to invite my friends out instead of just going along with maybe whatever they're wanting to do? So once you've got really clear on where you are, you're able to kind of imagine, and you might have to do some research. If you've been over here for a long time, stuck in this, you might not even realize that there is anything else. And again, the benefit of getting really clear about where you are is to realize that that is a place and that you have a choice to move away from that place. And as soon as you realize you have a choice, you're not a victim anymore. If you're stuck in this place and all you see is this, you can't get out of it. So once you've put it in a box, you write it down, you can put a box around it and you say, okay, so this is where I am. Now I have a choice about whether I do something about it, whether I change the way I am, whether I work on my confidence. So I would highly recommend doing this work. You can watch this video again. It will stay in the newsfeed. Do figure that out for yourself. Share in the comments. That would be great. And maybe start researching, hey, how would I want my life to look? How would I want to be if I had self-esteem, if I had great confidence, if I was in an awesome relationship where the person respected me, they loved me, they took time for me, they supported me, it was an equal thing, I didn't feel like I had to run myself ragged for that person. Like, what would that look like? If I went into work and I told my boss, hey, I have this great idea and here it is, and what do you think? And I wasn't too afraid to speak up. So how would that look? And, now that you've got this box, you can definitely create this one. And, you might want to write down what you want. I could see myself, having girlfriends over once a month for brunch, and this is how it would look, and we wouldn't all sit around complaining about everything. We would actually get inspired. We would want to, save the planet or whatever it is that you might actually start feeling some passion about. So again, it's really great to realize where you are because it gives you the chance to say no to that. Or if you want, it gives you the choice of saying no to that if you want to and saying yes to something else. So yeah, no, and start to realize what you want. And again, like I said at the beginning, for me, the way that I work with women specifically is to start getting them in touch with their body. Because our body knows when we're lying to ourselves. We get like, it doesn't sit okay. Somewhere inside we're like, we know that we're not really being true to ourselves. Somewhere inside we're like, well, I know this really isn't what I should do, but I'll just do it this way for now. It'll be okay. And we self-soothe. We tell ourselves it's all right. But our body knows. So again, in my program, we start working a lot with how to create a relationship with our body that helps us to recognize really, really subtle signals, and they become more and more obvious to us. It's like, we'll know, boom, we'll meet a new person. We'll be like, yeah, this is a person I should be friends with or not. This is a person I should go out with or not. And your body will start telling you, and you'll start listening. So the body really does give you the keys. So get really comfortable with looking at where you are. And again, like I said, it's not so that we get stuck there. It's so that we can actually step away and look at it. So that's what I had for you guys today. And it looked like a couple people kind of came on and off live. So that's awesome. I hope a lot of you get a chance to watch this later. I will post the link to my calendar if any of you feel super inspired to talk to me about working more in depth. I offer an 8-week program for women that I'd be happy to share with the right people. I only take a few people a month, so that's something I do. Here we will next week deal with a different topic, and I look forward so much to talking to you all then. Meanwhile, please post your symptoms, your things that have become clear for you about where you are. We'd love to hear those. And keep engaged in the group. It's so great to have you all here. Very excited. Be posting some more little articles that thoughts that come to me this week, and maybe another poll for our next week's presentation. So I hope y'all get a chance to try this exercise and to bring that into a clarity for yourself. All right, so it's Elsa from Pleasure for Health. I'm so glad y'all could watch this, and I look forward to talking to you all and interacting with you all on a regular basis. All right, take care and have a great day.